Another great show coming your way on Golden State Warriors today. But first, you know that saying out there, competition brings the best out of everybody. And I want to have a competition here on Golden State Warriors today. Can we beat our August 2022 comment record in which people commented 269 times dubs? Spam dubs in the comment section right now if you're a real one and support the show. Let's start off with this. Giannis. Is he going to leave the Milwaukee Bucks at some point in the future? And could it be coming just around the corner? Giannis casted doubt over his future, speaking with the New York Times about a contract extension with Milwaukee. And he did not say, I want to finish my career with the Bucks. Instead, it was something a lot different than that. And maybe Giannis is now laying the foundation for him at some point soon to go to a different organization. Here's a direct quote. You can make of it what you want. Next summer, he said, it would make more sense for both parties. Even then, I don't know. That's him talking about a contract extension, of course. I would not be the best version of myself if I don't know that everybody's on the same page. Everybody's going for a championship. Everybody's going to sacrifice time away from their family like I do. And if I don't feel that, I'm not signing a contract extension. Now, Giannis has been a very upfront and honest dude his entire tenure with Milwaukee. This is one of those quotes, though, that we might look back on a year from now in the foreseeable future and say, Giannis had questions about his future with Milwaukee then, and it all makes sense now why he's not with the Bucks. With Giannis, we're talking about a unicorn. A very special player where we haven't really seen the blend of athleticism, length, him being able to run 90 feet on the floor with seemingly just 4 steps. Very good offensive player, just as elite as a defensive player, and the numbers certainly back up that notion. Winning that championship a couple of years ago certainly solidified himself as one of the most special players in the history of this league. He's already won an NBA Finals MVP, an NBA championship, an MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year. The players to do that in the history of the NBA, very, very rare. And Giannis, he's a part of that crew. Here's more from Giannis on his future. At the end of the day, I feel like all my teammates know and the organization knows that I want to win a championship. As long as we're on the same page with that, and you show me we go together to win a championship, I'm all for it. The moment I feel like, oh, yeah, we're trying to rebuild, that's when it gets a little bit dicey. So with the Warriors now, you have to think about what this means for Golden State, because Giannis, if he becomes a free agent, he can literally sign with any team across the NBA. And can you imagine if the Warriors go from the end of Steph Curry's peak, I'm talking his ultimate powers, because I do believe he has a couple of really good years left, and then they segue and parlay that into Giannis being a member of Golden State. Can you imagine these two right here and the dribble handoff, isolation, two-man game, alley-oops, backdoor cuts, and the defensive style in which this entire Warriors organization will be able to play with? My goodness, 2025, 2026 opening night. Yeah, this is a little bit of a reach here, but let's have some fun with it. And let's just say that Klay Thompson does come back as he's entering the final year of his deal, and he signs a multi-year extension. And then Giannis obviously doesn't sign with Milwaukee or re-sign with the Bucks in that 2025 free agency period when that contract is up. And he comes to the Dubs, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Giannis, and Draymond Green. My goodness. So would you sign Giannis if he were to come available? S for sign, P for pass. Get those responses into the comment section right now. This will be our pinned comment. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, use it to your advantage. Scroll on down and get those votes in. Going into the final year of his contract, is Klay Thompson on the hot seat after how poorly he played in the NBA playoffs last year? Zach Buckley suggesting that Klay will have added pressure on himself going into 2023-2024. Here's what Buckley had to say. Contract years are always pressure cookers, but the burden on Klay Thompson's shoulders feels particularly heavy. The Dubs need his shooting to help their offense breathe, but they could use more of the other stuff than he supplied last year. It's possible he's still forming his post-injury identity, but maybe He'll just function as something like a shooting specialist in this phase of his career. Golden State's title odds and Thompson's future earnings will greatly be impacted by his play this season. That last line, I agree with that. But Klay Thompson is always cool as a cucumber. And I don't buy the notion that Klay Thompson is on the hot seat. The dude's already accomplished so much. He's been a multi-time NBA All-Star. He's won 4 NBA championships. He didn't play for a couple of years. His first year back with the Dubs 2 years ago, they end up winning a title again. And we saw his importance last year when he wasn't hitting shots in the playoffs against the Lakers. This offense simply wasn't the same. His defense was pretty solid, but look at how Klay was able to rebound in 2022-2023. He had a really solid season, and I feel as though a lot of people don't realize that. Almost 22 points per game, 41% from downtown. Those were shooting numbers. So please don't say that Klay Thompson was awful last year. He was not. He was actually really good. And yes, going into this year, he's an instrumental part of this team, but is he on the hot seat? I just don't buy it. What do you think, though? C for cold, H for hot. Another poll question for the homies out there. And once again, we appreciate your responses down below in the comment section. We round out with this. Pretty interesting stuff here with a very marquee and notable name in Blake Griffin. According to a report, the Warriors have expressed interest in Blake Griffin. Now, would I rather go Blake Griffin or a guy like Usman Garuba, who's a really good defender, who's still young, who played with the Houston Rockets? I might side with the younger player when I simply look at some of the power forwards available. You can find those lists online as well. For Griffin, he is so clearly cooked and so clearly washed that I don't even have confidence that he can give you 10-plus minutes a night. And he's not going to give you anywhere close to the athleticism that he once possessed when he was a high flyer throwing down hammers and was a human highlight reel. At the end of his peak with the Detroit Pistons, when he added that three-point shot to his game, Blake Griffin had some value. Now, though, you look at how far the numbers have gone down since 2019-2020 and the lack of games played. Part of that, coach's decision to not play him. Part of that, coaches know that Blake Griffin's best days are behind him. He isn't who he used to be. And that's really what this comes down to. And I'm not sure how he'd be able to help you at all. His Clippers years were tremendous, and he was a shoo-in to average 20-plus points per game every night, give you double-digit rebounds, throw down a couple of dunks that made SportsCenter back when SportsCenter was good, and was always a very efficient offensive player too, more than 50% from the floor because he'd dunk on your face. So if the Warriors do sign Blake Griffin, you know that we're going to cover it here on Golden State Warriors today. It would be a back of the rotation, back of the bench type of player who wouldn't even play every single night at this point. But interesting nonetheless because of the name value that the high-flying Blake Griffin does have. So would you sign him? Y for yes, N for no. We're rounding out the show with that. Please let us know once more. We, of course, always appreciate those comments. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. It's youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Even easier for you, just hit that subscribe button. Dub Nation, thanks for watching the show. And keep your eyes peeled for more content coming your way this week because that's the standard.